You're with Myglobalmind. We're here at Bloodstock with Ten Ton Slug from Ireland. So guys, tell us what's it like to be here at Bloodstock for your second time?
Second time.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Like, it's great to get back and play Sophie stage. It's one that we always looked at from, playing New Blood in 2016, being like, oh, it's like, it's just, it was an amazing feeling. We never thought we'd get to that stage when we played 2016. But it really opened so many doors and stuff, and just get the opportunity to play last night to such a good crowd was unbelievable.
And the feeling from it, I mean, the crowd was excellent. It's the biggest crowd we've ever played to.
Biggest gig to date.
People were really into it. It was really cool.
I think you got a really good slot actually, because there wasn't much else on Thursday.
Yeah, no
I
other
mean,
bands.
no offense, but but everybody was there. And
you're not vying for people's attention against other bands that are more profile, or what happens sometimes is a friend's band is playing and you're like, you're drawing people away from your friends or something like that, which would be terrible. So it's great. The Thursday's a great slot, and the time we were playing just before Honor Christ was unbelievable. I mean, we couldn't believe that we had that slot.
No, it was.
So you'd probably prefer that than say a 2 o'clock slot on Sophie stage, or
definitely.
Oh God, yeah.
What about if you were offered a 10 o'clock slot on main stage?
If you say when we can play, we'll play it. That's it. That's it. So if it's
not like we're going to be like, oh, that's 10 o'clock. No, we're not playing that. We're going to play that.
We're going to play it.
We'll play anything. Like,
you know what I mean? When it comes to that, absolutely. We're not going to complain.
Oh God, no.
So when you were here before, you came in through the Metal to the Masses competition. You won the Dublin heat of Metal to the Masses.
Yeah, we won the Republic of Ireland one. Yeah.
So how did this show come about? Did somebody contact you? Did you put your names in?
Well, I guess they keep track of people. Simon, we see him at the final every year. He had been keeping an eye on what we were doing with the Black Label Society stuff, with the tour with Corrosion and all that kind of stuff. So he knew what we were doing, he was aware. We had kind of tried to see, we didn't want to push things and be like, please give us a slot, but he knew that we were hungry for a slot. Bloodstock keeps an eye on the New Blood bands, and we were fortunate enough that they thought we were good enough for the slot that they gave us. So.
And you've done a few other festivals in the interim as well, right?
Yeah, we did Metal Days a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that was.
We opened the main stage.
20 to 4 on Monday. And got a really good crowd out as well for the time and for the heat.
36 degrees.
Definitely, I've never experienced that heat in general before, and to play in that heat was it was something else,
Yeah, it was. That was really a really big one for us as well.
Yeah.
So they were really cool. Since we did Bloodstock last time, we've done we did Amplified, we did Manifest, we did some of the kind of smaller festivals as well, which is really cool, and we do the Siege of Limerick a bit. Ireland, Siege of Limerick. That's where you want to play if you come to Ireland.
Oh, that is it.
One of the guys from the Siege of Limerick was our guitar tech as well. So Siege of Limerick's class.
And so what's coming up next? I mean, how are you doing? Have you guys got something recorded coming up? Or
we just released Hunting Ground, single, and video for it there just last week. So we're writing now at the moment. I've been writing for a while now. Just want to finish off songs for an album. So hopefully go in recordings as soon as we can, as soon as we get some time. But we have a few more shows as well coming up. We're playing was a Memoriam Support start of September, then Doom vs Stoner in Sheffield late September, and a few bits and pieces coming up. So it's a busy time. So.
And the video you mentioned there, Hunting Ground, I saw it, amazing video, looks great. The Sea House in Cavan, actually, we were looking to go there ourselves.
Really?
Yeah. Didn't find it actually.
Really?
We talked about
actually
that
hard to find.
Yeah. But
the guy who did it for us is Porrick Connaty. He's the guy who filmed the video, our last video for Matriarch of Slime, the live footage that we did with Black Label Society. That guy is the guy who did this video. He directed it and he edited it as well. Yeah. So we kind of let our creative control out of our own hands the first time, which is kind of scary, but he's a great guy.
He did an amazing job.
He did such a good job on it. I didn't think it would be as good as it was, in a good way. I thought, I know that he knows what he's doing, but the finished result we were delighted with.
And maybe you can tell us a bit about the history of that building and if it's got any connection to your song or lyrics or anything.
Ronan's from Cavan.
So that's a connection.
He's actually the guy to talk to about that, because
it's his local town. He lives maybe a couple of kilometres away, so. It was, it's all his connection.
I don't know a lot about Sea House. It was no like parochial house or something. A huge,
it was called the
huge
Bishop's
place.
Palace
Yeah.
back in the day. It was a massive house.
What I know is it has a lot of stairs because we had to carry all our equipment to the top floor up 3 massive flights, and then they said, okay, after all those shots are done, they're like, now we're going to shoot in the basement. Like, lug the stuff downstairs then.
Absolutely ruined after that.
But it was a really cool experience.
Brilliant.
So when you guys started out, you were a 5-piece as well.
That's right.
You're a 4-piece now.
Yeah.
How did that change the dynamic of the band?
Well, at the start, ourselves, like Wheat Priest and Ten Ton Slug, the same members, the exact same members. So, well, people had kids, people moved away, so the lineup changed. We lost the guitarist and changed bassists a couple of times, and now we have the current lineup.
Yeah. So with the guitar situation, Adam was the second guitarist. He's himself and the original bass from Slug were the main driving force of Wheat Priest. So they had creative vision for that, and we had it for Slug. So we just kind of worked together like that. Adam then, his family, he's from Lithuania. His family's from Lithuania, so he moved back to Lithuania. His last proper gig with us was the New Blood stage here. So that was a nice send off for him. We were debating whether to get another guitarist for a good while, and at that point we kind of looked at things and said, we were at a point then when we were writing and we didn't want to, I guess, have to put a lot of effort in to get somebody up to speed. Instead, we could use that effort to put ourselves further ahead. So I did both guitars. I use a splitter and I use 2 different heads, 2 different cabs, and different effects in each chain. Use one as my main guitar, one kind of knocking on and off is what gives the big sound. So it worked quite well. It made us tighter in a way because everything locks together. There's less variables. So Adam's a great guitarist, don't get me wrong, but there's just less variables involved with the one guitar. So it helps. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's some things you can't do, but other things you can, and we just kind of work with it. Yeah.
Okay, tell us, what was the first song or album that you guys listened to that made you realize, I want to make music?
For me, it was, I think, more or less, it was Smash by The Offspring. I got it in the late 90s, and I was very young at the time. I was about 11, I suppose, and it had this energy and this kind of feeling about it that it was very different from everything else I'd heard before that, and that led me on the kind of the path of looking at the heavier kind of stuff then, and went on to all of the usual kind of heavy stuff, eventually leading to Crowbar, which is like the holy grail.
That was Oddfellows Rest. That album, just it really stuck with me, that album. So
and the first time for me hearing Existence is Punishments by Crowbar, the bass opens and you're like, oh, this is my first time hearing Crowbar, and the bass is, oh, that sounds amazing. I want to know the guitar sound, and then they kick in, and I said to myself, oh, the vocals are probably ruined. Then the vocals kicked in, I was, it was
better
like,
and better, like
like oppressively heavy. It was great. So hearing those, and our first time going drinking together, was at Crowbar in Bristol. We flew over and went to see Crowbar in Bristol, and had a good old night of it.
We ended up drinking with the band afterwards in the pub across the road, like some
really
crack,
cool, really cool.
Crack.
So Crowbar is a big part of
well,
what
obviously
we do.
You can see the influence as well in your own work. And you guys have a great live sound. Apart from anything else, the vocals. I mean, you do backing vocals, and
Ronan's.
It's just such a. Oh, it's such a beast. I mean, it's the best way of describing it. How do you practice those growls? I heard you doing it at Zealot Cult this morning. As well.
It's one of those things. It's actually really useful for festivals because I can find Ronan wherever we are because I just go, and then you'll hear one then in the back that goes, it's like, oh, there he is over there. It's great. I don't know. I don't have much of a range, you see. I can do the low stuff. I found that I could do that. I can't do much else, if I'm honest. It'd be great to be able to do more. Ronan can do, he has a range and stuff. So the way we look at it is use what we have to the best that we can. And for me, it's the growls. Ronan's the man when it comes to the vocal stuff. I mean, I don't know how he does it.
We see people around wearing t-shirts, patches. You guys seem to have sort of expanded beyond the reach that most Irish bands seem to manage to do. But what was your secret? How did you get out there?
Taking every gig, taking every opportunity, just traveling,
trying to make the most of every opportunity, and talk to people.
Just,
I mean, we try to make sure that everything that we put out is the best it can be. Sometimes that means that we don't release. It would be great to release more often, but quality control is a big thing.
We're not going to sacrifice quality for
and it's the same with merch. It's the same with everything like that. So I think if things are of suitable quality, then people are willing to pick up a T-shirt or whatever because they know that it's quality. I guess that's what we aim for anyway. I don't know how, but it's working and it's really cool that it is.
Yeah.
So what would you like to achieve within the next 12 months? What's stretch goals? What do you want?
I'd love to play Desert Fest.
Yes.
I'd love to play Desert Fest. Love to get over to America at some point.
Yes.
That'd be amazing.
There's something that is we can't really talk about that's on the horizon. That's a possibility. That would be really, really cool if it happens. Ultimately, I guess what we want to do, we want to release something that we're really happy with. That's key. And then off the back of that, hopefully we get more festival appearances, be able to tour more. I mean, there's loads of things that we'd like to achieve. It's a case of focus on the music first, and the rest will come. We have to get the heads down and work now.
So far so good. I know you're
absolutely
doing great.
I will say, at the festival, there's a lot of Irish bands this year. You should definitely go check them out. Zella Cult played this morning. They're really, really class. And there's Asex, who won the Metal to the Masses, the Dublin Metal to the Masses. Loch Horns that won the Northern Irish one. There's
Sky Pilot as well.
Sky Pilot. There's Black Shuck from Galway, really good guys. There's more.
I should know them as well.
There's more. I'm really sorry if I left everybody out, but the Irish bands, Irish contingents will be supporting them all weekend. Everybody should do the same, check them out.
This video will be released long after the festival, but people can go check their back catalogue, check
them all out.
Facebook, all the rest. I didn't get you guys to introduce yourselves at the start of the video, so maybe we can do it now. Just tell me who you are and what you do in the band, just for the people that may not have met you.
I'm Sean, I play guitar and I go a lot in Ten Ton Slug.
I'm Micheál, I hit things with sticks.
Okay, thank you very much for taking the time.
Excellent,
and enjoy the rest of the festival.
We'll
relax.
do
Who do you want to see? Who's number one band for you for the rest of the weekend?
Ooh.
Irish bands aside, you've already.
Irish bands aside, I want to see Soulfly. I'm going to enjoy them. I'll say Soulfly.
Yeah,
that's my.
I'm not entirely sure. I haven't thought that far ahead.
Yeah, we were just focused on playing and then getting pressed on today. So
I'm taking it hour by hour now.
I want to see Wish Tripper. Wish Tripper, a good band, they're good guys. I'm looking forward to seeing them. Resin are playing on the Sunday. Simon Yarwood's band. He's a gentleman, absolute gentleman. Yeah. I'll be going checking them out. I mean, there's a lot of bands. I think I'll be focusing more on the kind of the underground bands. New Blood. There's always good stuff on at New Blood. So for me, it's more about that kind of stuff than the headliners for this, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, enjoy the rest of the weekend, lads.
Thank you very much.
Taking the time.
Cheers.
I'm Sean, I play guitar and I go a lot in Ten Ton Slug.